Okay, so what we're going to do today, guys, we're going to continue on from where you finished on Friday. So today what we're going to do is you've done the area of squares, rectangles. So today we're going to look at the area of triangles, okay? So I have 3 questions from the book. So this is all, guys, text and text, okay? So text and text, and it's page 101 all the way to 102. And I'm going to go through 3 questions with you. So like before, I'll do the first question and then I'll kind of draw up the next 2 questions on each, and you will kind of answer them yourself in your own time. Okay, so take down everything on this video. Okay, so take down everything in your notes and then upload it. All right, so area of a triangle. Okay, so when we had a square or a rectangle, you did, I better draw a better square or rectangle there. All right, so with a square, you had your length and your height or your width, okay? All right, and you multiply the 2 together. So for a triangle, things are slightly different. So with a triangle, so your triangle is shaped generally 3 sides, hence why it's called triangle. Tri for 3 angles. And what you will have is the values will be given will usually be the base of the triangle, okay? And what we call this is your vertical height. Okay, all right. So generally you will have a base and you will have a vertical height. It's called vertical height, so you got a right angle, okay? And your maths for the area of a triangle. So the area of a triangle is a half multiplied by your base multiplied by your vertical height. Okay? So a half multiplied by your base multiplied by your height. So when you get a question involving a triangle, what you need to do is find out what the base is, find out what the height is, multiply the base by a half, and then multiply that by the height, and that's it. Okay? And that's how you can calculate it. All right? So we leave that up here as a reference point. So there, guys, in text and text, page 101, we'll start with question 5. So we'll do all 3 parts of this. Okay. Well, actually, I'll do 2 parts. Okay. So I'll do the first 2 parts, and then you can do the third part in your own time. Okay. But I'll do the first part. I'll do the first part out, and then I'll do the second part, and I'll pause it. Okay. So as the video is going, guys, take it all down, and obviously pause it as you go. So part 1 is we have a triangle, like so, and we're told that this is 8 centimeters, and we're told that our vertical height here is 5 centimeters. Okay, so that's what we're given. Triangle like this, 5 centimeters by 8 centimeters. So look at our equation: a half times the base times the height. Okay, that's our equation. So put in numbers: a half times, so up here, what's the base? The base is the thing along the ground. So for us, that's here, that's 8. So it's a half times 8. And then what's our height? Our height is the vertical bit here in the triangle, which is this, the 5. So it's a half times 8 times 5. Okay? Now, put that into your calculator to work it out, but you could use your head, guys. So I'd always try and use mental maths instead of trying to rely on the calculator. So a half times 8, half of it is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So the area of this triangle is 20 centimeters, and don't forget, squared. Okay? All right? Okay, so I'll put up the second question, and then you can have a go and see how you get on. All right, so the question is, here's our triangle for part 2. So it's long and thin, 6 centimeters at the base, and then we come straight down here. Hang on a minute, no, let me rub that out. I'll redraw that. Okay, so I'll redraw that triangle. Okay, so that's our triangle, and its vertical height is 5 centimeters again. Okay, so that's 5 centimeters again. Okay, so 5 centimeters again. So solve that there. So pause the video, do the maths. Okay, so how did you get on? Again, our equation: a half times the base times the height. So what is that? That is a half times 5 times 6. Okay. Nope, sorry. Nope, that's not. Those numbers are the wrong way around. The base is 6. The height is 5. Other way around. So our area should work out there, guys, to be 15. 15 what? Centimeters squared. Okay. So that's kind of it. That's the easy enough stuff, guys. So you can try question 3 there, part 3 there of that in your own time in the book. Okay. So I'll move us on then to the next question. Question 6. Okay. So question 6, there are 3 triangles. So I'll do the first one and I'll get you to do the next 2. And then in question 7 is the harder ones. Okay. So as always, I'll demo the first one and get you to do the next 2. So here we go. So I'm going to skip the first few in question 6. So let me see there now. I just closed my book. So let me see. 1, 2, and 3 are fairly straightforward. You should have no real difficulty with them. I'm going to start with number 4. Okay, so questions 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much the same as questions 5. Okay, so you should be able to do those. So we're going to start with question 4 here. Okay, so our shape of our triangle is slightly different this time. It's shaped like this. Okay, and we're told that this is 9 centimeters. And then we're given the following information here. So my pen is a little bit acting up a little bit. There we go. And we're told that this is 7 centimeters. Okay. So again, the equation is always the same for the area of a triangle. A half times the base times the height. All you have to do, the only difference is, guys, is that they're going to trick it up and you have to find out what the base is and what the height is. That's it. Okay. So here, a half is always a half. So what's our base? Our base is down here, this thing, 9 centimeters. Okay. So it's a half times 9 times, and what's the vertical height? The vertical height is here. It's vertical height, guys. So from the ground up. Okay. A lot of people would here have, if sometimes they give you this information here, they give you this, but it's not that. Okay. It's the height, vertical height. Okay. So 9 times 7. Okay. So half times 9 times 7. So our area should work out to be 31.5 centimeters squared. Okay. And that's it. Or your calculator might say 31 and a half. It's the same thing. 0.5 is a half. Okay. But just in case people get confused. All right. So that's all it is. Find the base, find the height, multiply them all together in that equation, and it should work out. Okay? All right. So part 5. Okay, so we'll do part 5. I'll put up the question. I'll leave it for a second. You work it out. Pause the video, work it out, and see how you get on. Okay? So our triangle this time is shaped like this. Oh, my tablet moved as I was drawing that. Let me redraw it again. Okay, so we got it like this. That's 15. And we're told that this is 8 centimeters. Okay, so pause the video and see can you figure it out. Okay, so hopefully you figured it out. Let's go through it. So a half times the base times the height. So what did you put down as the base? Well, the base would be this, wouldn't it? 15. So half times 15. So what would be our vertical height? It'd be this, wouldn't it? 8. Half times 15 times 8. And we put all that into our calculator and you should have gotten 60 centimeters squared. Actually, let me double check my maths there myself. Yep, 60. Yep. Okay. All right. So that's part 5. So we'll do the last part, which is part 6. And again, I'll put up the question. You pause the video, answer it, and see how you get on. So part 6. So our triangle is now shaped like this. Small little thing, small base. Redraw that. Small base. And then it goes out and back like this. So that goes there to there. That's 24 centimeters. Okay, so I'm gonna have to change up my tablet, try and draw this. So they're giving us a little bit of information here. They're giving us this. Okay, so for some reason my tablet isn't registering that drawing. Give me a second there now, let me try something else. There we go. So we're told this height here is 24. I should think that's incorrect. Sorry, not 24, 12. Yeah, that was a mistake in my notes there. So that's 12 centimeters. And then they told us that this is 20 centimeters. Okay, so they're giving us two bits of information here. Okay, so do the maths, figure it out. Which one are we using? Get the base. The base is the easy enough one. Sure, you should know what the base is. But which one of the vertical heights do we use? So pause the video and work that out. Okay, so let's see how you get on. So write your equation. A half times the base times the height. A half is always a half. So what is your base here? Your base is 24. So a half times 24. What's your height? 20. Not 12. Okay, vertical height. Okay, so our vertical height is the 20. Okay, which is here. This is your vertical height. Okay, all right. So therefore times 20. So half times 12 is, or half times 24 is 12, times 20 gives us an area of 240 centimeters squared. Did you get that? Okay, so be careful guys. Sometimes it's the vertical height that'll catch you, and that's all it is. You take the vertical height, okay? All right, now that's just areas. Now we're on to the more difficult stuff. So what you're gonna have here now is you're gonna have weird shapes, okay? Now I'll demonstrate it here. So we'll do part one. So we have something like this. So that's what we got. We got a shape like this, and we're told this is 10 centimeters. We're told that this is 7 centimeters. Okay, and we're told that there's a line dash here and a line dash there, and we're told that this is 6 centimeters. Okay, and you're asked, find the area. Okay, so we have to find the area of this. Okay, so what shape is that? Well, it's not a square, it's not a rectangle, it's not a circle, so what is it? Okay, so what you have to do for something like this, okay, is break it up. Break the shape into 2 or more, because there could be more than 2 or more smaller shapes. Okay, so break the shape into 2 or more smaller shapes. Okay, so if you get a funny shape like this that's not a square, rectangle or triangle, what you do is you see, if we break it up, can we break it up into 2 separate things that are smaller and easier to actually make? Okay, so if we look at this, what do we have here? What do we have here? Well, this looks like a square, doesn't it? And this looks like a triangle. So in other words, what we actually have here in this shape, we can break this up into a square plus the triangle. You see? That equals our shape. You see? So the area of the square plus the area of the triangle equals the area of our total shape. Oh, I ran out of space there. Let me bring this up and redraw that one. Okay. So let me draw that triangle better. There we go. Okay. So we break this up. So the area of our square plus the area of our triangle, okay, the area of our square plus the area of our triangle equals the area of our overall shape. So what you have to do here is get the area of your square first, add it to the area of the triangle, and that's it, okay? So if we look up here, start with the area of our square. What's our square? Our square is simply length by width, which is 10 by 7. So the area of our square, and we put it in brackets, 7 multiplied by 10. There you go. Okay, that's the area of our square. Plus, now what's the area of our triangle? Well, look here, what's the base? The base is the same as the square, 10, you see? So that's going to be 10. So the base, so it's a half the base, so it's a half times the base, which we said was 10, times the height. What's the height of the triangle? It's 6, isn't it? That was given to us. So it's a half times 10 times 6. Okay? So 7 times 10 is 70. Plus a half the base times the height gives us 30. So that's 100 centimeters squared. So our total area of our shape is 100 centimeters squared. You see? Because this is 70 centimeters squared. This is 30 centimeters squared. So 70 plus 30 equals 100. That's all you do. Break your object out into the two different shapes or more. Some later questions could have more than one shape, and solve it. Okay? All right. So we'll have a look at question 2. So these ones are difficult. So we'll have a look at question 2 here. Part 2. I mean, not question 2, part 2. So this is all on page 102 now. Okay? Right. So our shape this time is we have a square like this. And then it jolts up. So this goes straight up and down. Okay? And are we told there's a line there? Yeah. So we're given a dash across like this, and we're told that's a right angle. Now, what we're told is from here to here is 14 centimeters. From here to here is 10 centimeters. And from here all the way up to the peak is 16 centimeters. Okay? So we'll do this together, okay? So what I'm going to do now is draw out the two shapes, okay? So step 1 is break up. Okay? So break up. So what two shapes do we have here? Well, our two shapes is our rectangle plus our triangle. Now let's put in our values. So the rectangle is easy enough. What's the length? It's 10. And what's the width? It's 14. Okay? And let me redraw that. 14 could be drawn a little bit better. 14. So let's look at our triangle. What's the base? Well, the base is the same, isn't it, as that. So that would also be 14. What's the height? Now the mistake a lot of people will say, did you say the following? Did you say it was 16? Yeah? Well, that's wrong. It's not 16. Why isn't it 16? Did anyone cop why? Okay? Well, the reason it's not 16 is that from the bottom of the rectangle to the top of the triangle is 16. So the height would be 16 minus 10. Why? Because the square is 10, you see? So the actual height of the triangle, the perpendicular height of the triangle, is 6, okay? So again, let me rub out a few bits of information here. So why was it 6? Okay? Because, all right, from the bottom of the square to the top of the triangle is 16 centimeters. But the square itself, the rectangle is 10 centimeters, okay? So therefore, the triangle is only 6, because 10 plus 6 is 16, you see? So the two added together give us 16, okay? So you have to subtract off that, okay, from your height. Otherwise, you won't get the right answer. And again, so you should be able to solve it from here. So step 2, solve. Okay, so solve from here. Get the two areas and add them together. All right, so what's the area for the square 10 times 14 plus a half times the base. What's the base? 14 as well. What's the height? 6. So this gives us 140 plus, put this into a calculator, you should get 42. So our total area should be 182 centimeters squared. Okay. So it was a little bit tricky. So now the third one, I will put the third one up, and then you will be expected to do it yourself, and then play the video then to solve. So here's the question. So we have a shape like this. Let me put that out there now, draw that better. Okay, and then it peaks like that. And we're told that's there. It's there. So that's 11 centimeters. That's 18 centimeters. And that's 8 centimeters. Okay. So what's the area? Again, break it into its two shapes. Give me the area of both shapes. Add the two areas together. Okay, so pause the video there and try and work that out. Okay. Okay. So first things first, draw your two shapes. So step one, break up. So what do we have? We have a rectangle and we have a triangle. So what are our values for the rectangle? Well, that's easy enough, 18 and 11. What's the value for the triangle? 18, and our vertical height was 8. You see? So step 2, solve. Okay, so step 2 is simply solve. So what's the area of a rectangle? Is length by width, so it's 11 times 18, plus the area of a triangle, which is a half the length, which is 18, by the perpendicular height, which is 8. Now, always do them individually, guys. I've done them individually all the way through. I'd advise you to do it individually too, just in case you make a mistake. It's very easy to go back and fix it. So 11 times 18 is 198, and a half times 18 times 8 should give you 72. So the total area then is equal to 270 centimeters squared. Okay. Right. So that's it for today. All right, so we're hitting 20 minutes there now. So now the video is 20 minutes, and obviously with the pausing and writing up the notes, it's probably hitting the 40-minute mark of the class. All right, so let's do a quick recap. So the area of triangle, guys, is a half times the base times the height. Okay, so what you have to do is figure out what the base is, and it's always the vertical height. Okay, so the vertical height is key. Okay, so the vertical height. All right. Now, when it comes to awkward shapes like this from question 7 on, so in the book, guys, if you want, have a look at question 8, see how you get on with it. Okay, all right. Break the shape into the 2 or more smaller shapes. That's always the first thing you do. So here we had this big weird shape, but if you look at it closely, it's basically a rectangle and a triangle. So get the area of the 2 individual parts. Get the area of the square, the area of the rectangle, the area of the triangle. And what that does is that gives you the total area of your new shape. And that's all you do. Look at how many shapes there are. Even here, we got a big awkward shape, but it's basically a rectangle plus a triangle. Okay? Down here, same thing, awkward shape, but it turns out to be a rectangle plus a triangle, okay? Or for example, now this is a question later on, you will see later on, but let's look at this shape here, okay? If they ask you to get the area of this, what would you do? What shapes are there? There's 3 shapes, isn't there? Okay, so there are 3 shapes. What are the 3 shapes? You have your rectangle, and then you have 1 triangle, 2 triangles. So here you would have rectangle plus the area of a triangle plus the area of a triangle, or I'll draw that the other way around just so you can see, plus the area of a triangle equals the area of our total thing. You see? So all you do, look at the shape, break it into smaller shapes, break it into simpler shapes, and solve. Okay, that's all you have to do. Break it into the smaller, simpler shapes, and then solve from there. And remember, the triangle is half the base times the perpendicular height. Okay, if you have any questions, guys, please leave them on the Teams page, and we'll talk to you then. All the best.